The vast dark space was silent except for the slow hum of the alien ship drifting near a strange blue planet. The alien captain, Zorak, stared at the glowing world below. It was full of life, forests, oceans, and cities filled with humans. But this planet was special. It belonged to the alien race called the Cathari. They had lived there for thousands of years. Zorak's eyes narrowed. They do not understand. We warned them, but they do not listen. His first officer, Nira, nodded. The humans think they are powerful. They ignore the warning we sent months ago. The warning was clear. The Cathari had contacted the humans through many channels. They asked humans to stop exploring the forbidden zones of the planet. These zones were home to dangerous creatures and sacred lands. But humans, full of pride and curiosity, ignored the message. Back on Earth, the humans were busy. Scientists and soldiers prepared for new missions. They wanted to explore more, find new resources, and expand their reach beyond Earth. No one believed the aliens could be serious. The warnings were seen as threats or tricks. Captain Marcus Reed stood in the command room of the human spaceship Resolute. He was a strong man, used to facing danger, yet even he was puzzled by the strange messages from the Cathari. Why would they warn us? What do they want? He asked his crew. Some crew members laughed. Maybe they are scared of us, said one. Another said, we are humans. We don't back down. Days passed. Humans sent probes and explorers deeper into the forbidden zones. Cameras showed strange plants and animals, but no danger. The humans believed the Cathari warnings were just to protect their secrets. But deep in the alien forests, the Cathari watched. They prepared for what was coming. They had seen what humans could do. On many worlds, humans were fierce fighters. They fought wars, conquered lands, and never gave up. One night, strange signals began to appear in human communication systems. A low, mysterious noise that disturbed machines. Engineers worked hard to find the source, but failed. The signals grew stronger. The humans felt nervous, but did not stop their missions. Meanwhile, on the Cathari ship, Zorak looked worried. This is no longer a warning. It is time to act. If they continue, we must show them the price. But not everyone agreed. Nira said, there might be another way. We can try to talk again. Humans are strange. They might listen if we show strength, not just words. Zorak shook his head. Too late, they don't understand, they never listen. Suddenly, the human ship Resolute received a strange message. It was not in any known language, but felt like a threat. The crew studied the message carefully. The alien symbols glowed on the screen, clear and sharp. Captain Reed stood firm. We need to prepare. This is not just a warning anymore. Something is coming. The humans on Earth started to build more weapons and stronger defenses. News spread quickly. The aliens were serious. But many humans still believed they could handle anything. The tension grew day by day. The humans were hunting answers, and the Cathari were ready to protect their home. One early morning, alarms rang loudly on the human base near the Forbidden Zone. The sky lit up with bright flashes. The humans looked outside and saw strange ships, dark, sleek, moving fast. It was the first real attack. Chaos erupted. Soldiers grabbed their weapons and ran to defend the base. Captain Reed took command immediately. Hold your positions, do not let them get inside. The aliens attacked with speed and power, but they did not want to destroy everything. Their goal was clear, to make humans stop, to show them they had been warned. The battle was fierce. Humans fired missiles and lasers, but the aliens used strange shields and vanished into the shadows. It was a fight humans had never seen before. Many soldiers were hurt. Machines exploded. The humans felt shock and fear. For the first time, they understood that the Cathari were not bluffing. When the attack stopped, silence filled the air. The humans counted their losses and looked to the sky. The aliens were gone, but their message was clear. The war had begun. Captain Reed stood among the ruins, his face hard. We didn't listen. Now we must pay the price. Far away, Zorak and his people prepared for what was next. The humans had ignored the warning, and now both sides were ready for a battle that could change everything. The stars shone cold and bright, waiting for the fight to start. The night sky was calm, but deep inside the human base near the forbidden zone, the air was thick with tension. Everyone knew the warning was ignored. Now the consequences were coming closer. The humans tried to stay strong, but inside many were afraid. Captain Reed stood by the big window, looking at the stars. "They are out there," he said quietly, waiting. His voice was steady, but his eyes showed worry. "We must be ready for anything." Suddenly, the communication panel beeped. A strange message appeared, full of unfamiliar symbols and sounds. The translators worked fast, but the message was clear. The aliens were coming back. This time it was no longer just a warning. The humans began to prepare their defenses. They built barriers, checked their machines, and trained harder than ever. The scientists worked day and night to understand the alien technology. Everyone knew this was the moment to prove their strength. Meanwhile, far away on the alien ship, Zorak watched the humans carefully. He was calm but firm. "They did not listen," he said. "They think they are ready, but they do not understand our power." His people were ready to act, but not to destroy everything. Their goal was to make humans understand the price of ignoring peace. They wanted to stop humans from pushing too far. Back on Earth, Captain Reed gathered his team. "We do not want to fight," he said, "but we will protect our people. We must show them we are not afraid." His words gave courage to the soldiers, but inside, the fear remained. Days passed slowly. Strange things began to happen. The power would flicker, machines would stop for moments, and sometimes, in the distance, strange lights moved silently. The humans knew this was the aliens testing their strength. One evening, as the sun set behind the hills, the sky suddenly filled with shining ships. The aliens arrived quietly, surrounding the human base. The humans could see their shapes moving smoothly through the air like shadows dancing in the night. Captain Reed stood tall. "Stay calm," he ordered. "Watch carefully. Wait for their move." The aliens did not rush. Instead, they sent messages through the air, strange images that showed the damage humans were causing to the planet. Forests burned, rivers changed, animals vanished. The message was clear. The humans must stop before it was too late. Some humans felt ashamed. They began to question their actions. But others felt anger and wanted to fight back harder. Then, the unexpected happened. The aliens started to open communication. A calm voice spoke through the speakers. "We do not want war. We want respect. Leave the forbidden zones, and peace will return." Captain Reed listened carefully. He wanted to believe in peace, but his people were scared. They had already lost friends and equipment. Trust was hard. The night grew deeper. Both sides waited, unsure what would happen next. Suddenly, a small group of humans moved toward the alien ships. They carried white flags, a sign of peace. Captain Reed watched them go with hope. Maybe, just maybe, this war could be stopped before it truly began. But the stars above seemed to hold their breath, waiting for the choice humans and aliens would make, peace or conflict. The silence after the last message was heavy. Everyone in the human base felt it, a calm before something big. Captain Reed walked slowly through the halls, thinking deeply. The aliens had sent a peaceful message, but could they really trust it? The humans were divided. Some hoped for peace, others prepared for trouble. Outside, the stars sparkled cold and distant. The alien ship stayed near, watching, waiting. The humans called it the Silent Watch. No attacks came, but no talks either. The waiting was the hardest part. Suddenly, a signal came through, stronger and clearer than before. It was a challenge. Not a fight, but a test. The aliens wanted to see if humans could prove their strength and respect. They sent a message that was part riddle, part invitation. If humans answered right, peace might come sooner. If not, the aliens warned that harsher steps would follow. Captain Reed gathered his closest team. "This is our moment," he said. "We must show them who we are, not with anger, but with courage and wisdom." His team felt the weight of those words. The future of their people depended on this choice. The riddle was strange. It spoke of balance, respect, and the need to protect the planet's life. It was clear the aliens valued their home deeply, more than humans had realized. Days turned into nights as the humans worked together, trying to solve the riddle. Scientists, philosophers, and leaders all joined in. The base was alive with ideas and hope. Some started to change their minds about the aliens. Maybe this was not a war to win, but a lesson to learn. At the same time, small groups of humans and aliens secretly met in hidden places. They shared stories about their worlds, their hopes and fears. Friendships began to grow, even in the middle of tension. But not everyone was ready to listen. Some humans still whispered about fighting back harder, about not trusting the aliens at all. Captain Reed knew this fear was natural but dangerous. One evening, a young scientist named Maya made a breakthrough. She found a way to send a message back. Not just words, but a promise. The humans promised to respect the forbidden zones, to protect the planet, and to seek peace. The message was sent with care, and the whole base waited for a response. The stars above seemed to glow softly, as if the universe itself hoped for an answer. Minutes passed like hours. Then, a light blinked on the screen. The aliens answered, slowly, carefully, but with hope. They agreed to meet humans face to face to talk and find a way forward. Excitement and fear mixed together in the base. This was the moment that could change everything. Captain Reed prepared his team. "We must show them our best," he said, "not as enemies but as equals." As the two sides met, the stars watched silently. The future was uncertain, but for the first time a path to peace seemed possible. The meeting place was quiet and strange, a small clearing in the forest where tall trees surrounded them like silent guards. Humans and aliens stood apart, watching each other with careful eyes. Captain Reed stepped forward, his heart steady but his mind full of questions. This was the moment everyone had waited for, a chance to find answers, or maybe more questions. Zorak, the alien captain, moved with calm grace. His eyes, deep and knowing, held the weight of many years. "We have come to talk," he said softly, "not as enemies, but as beings who share the same home." His voice was like a quiet river, steady and clear. The humans listened. Some were still unsure. Could they trust these words after all that happened? Captain Reed looked around at his team. "We want to understand," he said. "We want peace." The air was full of tension and hope. Both sides shared stories of their worlds, their struggles, and their dreams. The aliens spoke of the forests, rivers, and creatures they protected. The humans spoke of their cities, their families, and their desire to grow without harm. Slowly, walls began to fall. Differences seemed smaller. The aliens showed humans how they cared for the land with respect and balance. Humans began to see a new way, one that did not need to destroy to thrive. But the meeting was not easy. Old fears and pain surfaced. A young human asked, "Why did you attack us before? Why the warning only after we crossed the line?" Zorak nodded. "Because words were not enough. We needed to show the cost of ignoring respect." Captain Reed spoke gently. "We did not understand before, but we can learn now." The discussion went on for hours. Ideas of cooperation, protection, and trust filled the air. Both sides realized the future was not in fighting, but in working together. As the sun began to set, Zorak offered a gift, a small seed from their sacred forest. "Plant this on your world," he said. "Let it remind us of our promise." Captain Yeo. Reed accepted the seed with respect. "We will protect it," he said, as a symbol of new beginnings. When the meeting ended, both sides left with hope and questions. The journey ahead would not be easy, but it was a path worth taking. Back at the base, the seed was planted in the center garden. People gathered, watching it grow slowly, a sign of change and promise. Captain Reed stood beside the small plant, looking up at the stars. "This is just the beginning," he whispered. The stars above seemed to shine a little brighter that night, as if the universe itself was watching a new story unfold. A story of respect, hope, and the chance to build a better tomorrow. Quiet tension filled the air. The promise of peace was fragile like a thin glass ready to crack. Captain Reed and Zorak both knew this. The worlds they came from were very different, and old habits die slowly. Trust was growing, but doubt still lingered. One morning, the humans noticed something strange. Parts of the forbidden zones were changing faster than expected. Trees were disappearing, rivers shifting. Scientists warned this was not natural. It seemed someone was still pushing the limits. Captain Reed frowned. "We need to find out who is doing this, before everything falls apart." Zorak's people were troubled, too. "Our sacred lands are under threat," he said quietly. "If this continues, the peace will be lost." Together, humans and aliens began to search for answers. Teams formed, traveling deep into the forbidden zones, watching, learning, protecting. The sense of urgency grew stronger every day. Then, one evening, a discovery shocked them all. Hidden machines left by unknown forces were damaging the land. These machines were not human or alien. They were old, left from a past neither side fully understood. They were dangerous, causing harm to the world they both wanted to protect. Captain Reed looked at Zorak. "This changes everything. We must work together more than ever." Zorak nodded. "Our future depends on it." The humans and aliens worked, side by side, disabling the machines carefully and restoring the land. It was slow work, but every small victory brought hope. They shared knowledge and tools, learning from each other. As the days passed, a new understanding grew. Both sides realized that to protect their worlds, they had to forget old fears and find new strength in unity. The forbidden zones, once a place of danger and fear, began to feel like a bridge between two worlds. But not everyone agreed. Some humans worried that trusting the aliens was risky. Some aliens still held onto old fears. Captain Reed and Zorak spent long hours talking, trying to find a way to bring everyone together. One night, under a sky full of stars, they made a decision. "We will create a new home here," Zorak said. "A place where humans and aliens can live and protect the world together." Captain Reed smiled. A future built on trust. The idea was bold and new. Slowly, they began planning, building a community where respect was the strongest rule, where differences were not feared, but celebrated. The seed planted in the garden grew taller, a symbol of their promise and hope. Around it, new life was starting, new friendships, new dreams, a new story. Captain Reed looked at the growing plant, then at the stars. "This is our chance," he said softly, "to build something better." The universe watched, as two very different worlds began to find a way forward, together. The new community was quiet but alive with hope. Humans and aliens worked side by side, learning from each other every day. They built homes, shared stories, and protected the land together. The seed from the sacred forest had grown into a strong tree, its leaves whispering promises of peace with every breeze. Captain Reed walked through the garden, watching children play beneath the tree's shade. Their laughter was a new sound, one that had not been heard here before. It was the sound of a future being born. But even in this peaceful place, challenges remained. Old fears and doubts still appeared. Some whispered that peace was fragile and could break at any moment. Yet the leaders of both worlds stood strong, reminding everyone that trust and respect were the foundation. One morning, a group of explorers returned with news. Far beyond the community, strange lights were appearing in the sky. No one knew what they meant, but it was a reminder that the universe was much bigger and full of unknowns. Captain Reed and Zorak met again under the great tree. "This is only the beginning," Reed said. "We must be ready together." Zorak nodded. "Our journey is just starting, but now we have hope and strength." The two leaders looked out at the growing community, a symbol that even the deepest differences could be bridged with patience and care. As the stars twinkled above, humans and aliens alike felt a quiet promise in the air. They would face the future as one, protecting their shared home and discovering what else the universe might hold. And so, from a warning ignored to a friendship born, the story of these two worlds became a lesson that understanding and respect could light the darkest paths and bring new life to even the most distant stars.